Welcome to science class. If you haven't gotten your guided notes for the week, make sure you go ahead and grab it before you start. It should say 1.3 guided notes, and it'll be on the bean table. A couple of announcements before you get started. So next week is a 4-day week, so you're off Monday for a holiday. We're going to take some time, both blocks next week, to do outside observations out in the woods, in the field, and by the creek. I'll remind you again a couple of times probably throughout the week, but just make sure that you have good footwear and just make sure whatever it is that you're wearing is appropriate for walking on grass or trails. So sometimes people don't want to wear certain shoes because you don't want to get it grassy or wet. So basically for an outside observation this year, you'll be randomly assigned a sit spot and you'll have a yoga mat to sit on. Because not everybody wants to just sit on the bare ground. So you'll have something to kind of keep you clean. And you'll stay in that spot the whole time. So for the whole block while we're out there, you'll be on that just one spot, making some observations of things around you. So I would not expect you to hop up and run through the woods looking for your friends, or kind of yelling and shouting and doing all that kind of stuff. It's definitely a more focused thing, almost like your solo time that you do in advisory. So just kind of you just doing your assignment and just kind of enjoying being alone in the woods, even though there's other people around you. And so I'm going to use a flippity random selector. So you might be in the field, like in the tall grass, you might be in the woods, or you might be sitting by the creek. So basically, you'll have like a little flag or some kind of a marker that's got a number, and so you'll know that's where your spot is. So if you were number 1, you would know that wherever the number 1 flag or marker is what your sit spot is. And so if you look at an aerial view of Westport, you can see right there. And so we're going to be going back behind the baseball diamond and behind the track. So you probably know in general where it is, but you probably have never been back there. Okay, and then back behind the baseball diamond, there's actually a trail. And so the numbers correlate to where your sit spot will be. So if you get sit spot number 1, you can see you'll be kind of just in the grass next to the baseball diamond. If your number was 15 or 16 or 14, you're kind of midway down the trail. And then if you were 28 or 27 for some reason, yours is further back along the creek. So just kind of have an idea in mind when you get your number, which part of the trail you'll be on. And while you're out there, you're going to be doing a journal entry. And so you might be drawing things or describing your things that are around you. Good things that you can look out for could be maybe what the weather feels like, whether it's sunny or cool, how you feel being out there, drawing what you see, describing what you hear, or just even talking about like maybe what the air smells like. So definitely some information should be around for you to pick up on. Here's another example. It's pretty easy to see animals back there. Just the quieter you are, the more animals will feel comfortable coming out. So it's definitely likely that you'll see some deer or birds or other animals back there. Okay. The week after that, so the week after your outside observation, you'll end up starting to build your earthquake-proof miniature tower. And so if you're able to, it would be awesome if you could get a hold of some crazy glue and some balsa wood sticks. I'll order a lot more extra. So if you're not able to order or bring any, I'll have plenty for you, but it's always nice to have a little bit extra to work with. And we'll take probably about 3 weeks to build it. So there won't be any door 1, door 2s for that entire time. Just all of your class time will be devoted to building just a tower that can withstand an earthquake. And you can test it, build it, and retest it as many times as you want until you get the score that you want. And we'll go over grading more later. Okay, so this week, we're still talking about natural disasters. And this week, we are looking at how we can protect our community from natural disasters. So this is Louisville specifically, from natural disasters. A couple of vocab words to note there. So you can pause the video if you need to write them down. So we have stakeholders, mitigate, constraints, and criteria. Natural disasters can be divided up into 5 categories, and each of them has their own set of challenges or kind of issues with warning the public. So if you're trying to warn the public of a geophysical event, that's going to have its own problems. If it's something related to water or hydrological, that's going to have its own problems with things as well. So that's the 5 types of natural disasters. You can pause the video if you need to. Some hazards are predictable, and we can make good guesses about when they're going to occur. Tornadoes are a good example. So, the weather person can come on and tell us that we have a good chance of thunderstorm outbreaks tonight or tomorrow. And we can kind of get a pretty good heads up. Some of them are not predictable at all. And so earthquakes and tsunamis are examples of ones that are just not predictable. They just happen out of the blue and catch us off guard. So for your project this week, you're going to end up trying to come up with a way to warn citizens in Louisville of a natural disaster. And so here's a couple of good ideas for you to get started. So if you need to brainstorm or think about how you would design or make your warning system, you got a couple of ideas there. And the best way to prevent death and damage from a natural disaster is just to have a good warning system. So the more heads up or more warning you can give, the more people's lives you'll save, the less property damage you'll have, and then also the less emotional distress or anxiety and things like that. And the type of people that are responsible for creating and designing warning systems are called engineers. And there's lots of different kinds of engineers. So you have mechanical engineering, electrical, machinists, etc. Okay, so that's the end of your guided notes. And so this week is just like your last 2 weeks. So after you've completed the guided notes, you're just going to watch any videos that are posted to the work plan, take a page of Cornell notes, and then you get started on your project. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye.